has pumped billions to censor the report that come from Nigeria. That is why all the killings happening in Nigeria, they are not seeing it anywhere. It is only what we are bringing to the public that those people who care to listen to us will see. That is why when all this impunity is going on, you don't see any Nigerian news media reporting it. Rather, they pay all of them heavily to fight and sponsor propaganda against Simon Ekpa and against IPOB and against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. That is what is going on. Otherwise, you cannot outrightly identify a demographic fault line by ordinary election. No. Where to identify a demographic fault line is from the killings going on all over Nigeria. Is from the Fulani terrorist killings, the ethnic cleansing, the killing of indigenous people in Nigeria. These are the requirement to make you to identify this particular demographic fault line. It is not by one-day election. It is not by election. So the people in the United Nations who have made this statement are just biased. Not just biased, they are corrupt. Because you can't just come out just because of election that has not been different from the previous election in Nigeria. What happened this year election is not different from what is happening before. It is not different from 2019. It is not also different from 2015. Everything is the same. So how come it is ordinary election that makes the United Nations to identify a demographic fault line, ethnic, religious, demographic fault line? But in all the killings, they didn't see that as a fault in Nigeria. In all the burning of churches, they didn't see that as a fault in Nigeria. In all the killings in the village from Middle Belt to Southeast, making us to form the Eastern Security Network, they did not see that as demographic change. Now it is in election they see it. So, but that is why our activities and actions will speak for us. If that is what they want to know before they can understand that before the election there were already a process of demographic change which we are fighting against. Do you understand? Now let us go back to read what they say. We are going to analyze it. It is important that we give you a very in-depth analysis of why we are doing what we are doing, of why we should be able to know when the people who should know better is playing game with us. The United Nations on Wednesday said that the presidential election held on February 25th have revealed the sharp ethnic, religious, and demographic fault in the country. So if you have reviewed, if this election, only this election, and not all the killing and genocide going on in Nigeria, have revealed this ethnic fault line, which is very dangerous and is capable of bringing another Rwanda, which is very, very fast cooking, and you claim that to be, for peace. What are you going to do to make sure that this particular demographic fault line is resolved? How do you solve this problem? We are looking for the solution, and we know the solution to the fault line, that not just a fault line but has cost the life of thousands of indigenous people in Nigeria and still counting. Despite the signing of the peace accord by candidates and their political parties. So they don't understand that the demographic fault line that the election has revealed has nothing to do with this particular election. Rather, it has to do with the Fulanization of Nigeria, which manifested during the election. The UN also stated that since Nigeria is standing at a crossroad, engagement in genuine dialogue involving all stakeholders will be pivotal in calling for accountability to restore confidence in the governance processing. You cannot call a stakeholder in a faulty foundation. In order to solve the problem of Nigeria, there is a need to call for a review and rearrangement of the Nigeria system by going into referendum for everybody to be given the opportunity to choose whether they want to continue to be part of this particular country where there is no confidence in the governance, where the citizens have lost faith, where there is no patriotic person anymore. Do you want to continue to wait until the war break out before you now come and start bringing your peacekeeping mission or the peacekeeping mission? So we are calling on the United Nations today to understand that you can no longer continue to wait for stakeholders to come and on the round table to start discussing accountability in a faulty foundation and in a place where it has been identified that there is a demographic fault line. Every reasonable person knows that when this demographic fault line has been identified, there is a need to revisit the agreement. It is not about accountability. Accountability does not give birth to demographic fault line. Accountability does not result to demographic fault line. Corruption does not result to demographic fault line. What results to demographic fault line is terrorism. Terrorism and ulterior motive to conquer and overrun other ethnic groups. That is what gives birth to demographic fault line. Corruption in Nigeria doesn't give birth to that. What gave birth to the demographic fault line is the terrorists being sponsored by the Nigerian government. And you cannot continue to shy away from this fact and this truth. And there is no way you can bring people to a round table to start talking about accountability when the fault is coming from people who have agenda, and the agenda is to convert Nigeria into Islamic State. And you are talking about accountability. What has that got to do with the problem that we are facing in Nigeria that made the Biafran people to pick up arms for self-defense? It has nothing to do with accountability. The people have lost confidence in Nigeria system. They have lost confidence in security because Boko Haram is part of them. They have lost confidence in the system because it is very, the demography is changing. Everybody knows that. Both the ethnic and the religious fault is developing on a daily basis. So how do you now begin to talk about it and talk about roundtable discussion? I want everybody to watch and listen to this again. I will not play all of them, but just the part that I feel is very important at this point.
Power in Nigeria to contain the Christianity in Nigeria. That is wealthy people in Nigeria who are Muslim, who are supporting the Boko Haram in secret. They are not coming out to say this is what we are doing. They are not happy with the Muslim, with the Christian president in the country. So their job is to get rid of Goodluck Johnson and put the Muslim guy.
Now, what you are hearing now is the real problem, not accountability. This is the problem that gives birth to this particular demographic fault line that UN is talking about. So if UN do not know what gave birth to the demographic fault line that the general election have revealed to them, they should listen to this particular video. This is what gave birth. In fact, I think it is also very important that I start from the beginning. What gave birth to the demographic fault line? Everybody should listen to this from the beginning.
Hello and welcome to A Spirited Debate. I'm Lauren Green. Boko Haram has been terrorizing Nigeria's Christian community for years now, victimizing those who would stand in the group's way of creating an Islamic state. Christian Solidarity International is on the ground in Nigeria, working with victims to give them support they need. Frank Mayok is the program manager of Nigeria's projects and joins me now to explain the religious tensions smoldering in this region. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
You know, the interesting thing about Boko Haram before is that they really come out of Sudan. This is, and we know the strife that was in Sudan where they broke the country in two. So explain where they come from.
Well, I can put it this way. Nigeria, after independence, the first two missions they have, one was in London and one was in New York. The third mission after that was in Sudan. And there is a reason for that.
There is a reason for that. All these meetings you are hearing is the result of the demographic fault line that UN is talking about today from the election. So they did not go and start solving and identifying the problem from the fundamental. It has nothing to do with election. Election is just the result, the outcome, the product of what we are hearing here today. So let us go there.
It's the shortcut to Mecca. Someone from Nigeria, they go through Chad and go to Sudan and then go to the Mecca for the pilgrim.
The Mecca, to go to Mecca,
yes.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And because of that, there are a lot of Nigerians who go to Sudan on the way to Mecca. Mm-hmm. And when they come back and they're poor, they stay there. Mm-hmm. And Sudan become their own country. Now, when the Islamic government come to Sudan in 1998, mm-hmm. and their agenda was to Islamize the Sudan in general, they were working with Nigerians. They were working with Osama bin Laden. When he was pushed out from Sudan, he took with him one group of the terror, and then another group left in Sudan, and the third group was sent out to disturb the neighboring country. Part of those groups were Boko Haram, who were sent to Nigeria. And the idea is Sudan believed that the people who are ruling Nigeria now are not extremely enough, mm-hmm. like the way it used to be. So the Boko Haram, people who start Boko Haram, mm-hmm. they did the training in Khartoum with Osama bin Laden, and then they were sent to Nigeria.
So there's all Al-Qaeda ties.
It's all Al-Qaeda.
Are you people listening? This is what gave birth to what United Nations is revealing today. Nothing else. This is what gave birth to this particular demographic, ethnic, and religious fault line. Here. This is what gave birth to it. Not the election. Not the election. Election is just, election is just the, the product of what you are listening. So now the question is, for you to solve the problem of, of this particular demographic, religious, and ethnic fault lines in Nigeria, you need to go from the root of the root cause of the problem, which is renegotiating the coexistence of Nigeria, and that will happen by referendum. I want everybody to continue to listen.
Haram is the Taliban of Nigeria. That is the way I can put it.
Who are these people that become members of Boko Haram? Who are they? Are they disenfranchised? Or are they educated? Or are they unemployed? Who are they?
These are coming from the two tribes in Nigeria, Fulani and Hausa tribe.
Did you hear that?
Those are Muslim. And you can see in Nigeria, bordering to Chad, there is a state called Borno. Mm-hmm. Those people is easy.
Fulani tribe in Nigeria. These are the people that are making Boko Haram. But you know what? They tell you that they are herdsmen. They tell you that they are bandits. When they come to attack you in Benue State, they become bandits. When they attack you in Abuja, they become bandits. They are all the same. Listen to it again. They are called Fulani.
Taliban of Nigeria country. Part of those groups were Boko Haram, who were sent to Nigeria. And the idea is Sudan believed that the people who are ruling Nigeria now are not extremely enough, mm-hmm. like the way it used to be. So the Boko Haram, people who start Boko Haram, mm-hmm. they did the training in Khartoum with Osama bin Laden, and then they were sent to Nigeria.
So there's all
Taliban of Nigeria. That is the way I can put it.
Who are these people that become members of Boko Haram? Who are they? Are they the disenfranchised? Or are they educated? Or are they unemployed? Who are they?
These are coming from the two tribes in Nigeria, Fulani and Hausa tribe. Those are Muslim. And you can see in Nigeria, bordering to Chad, there is a state called Borno.
Okay.
Those people, it's easy for them to cross to Chad and go to Sudan and go to the Makkah. And when they come back, in 1998, the Sudan government opened up the scholarship for the young Nigerian to go for education. But those people were sent to the training camp to be terror. So they are the young Nigerian who are educated, who go to Sudan, and they pretend they are going for a scholarship, and they were trained there and then sent back to Nigeria.
And these are the Boko Haram?
And those are the Boko Haram members.
From January 2012 to July of 2013, Boko Haram bombed, burned, or attacked 50 churches, killing at least 366. Why are they going after Christians?
They believe...
Now, this whole thing, and in all this, I'm not talking even about the Boko Haram issue now, but in all these killings, UN did not see it as demographic fault line. They didn't see it like that. Rather, it is ordinary outcome of election that have revealed demographic fault line. The killing in Benue State have not revealed demographic fault line for the United Nations. And it is just ordinary here we go. This did not review demographic fault line. Those of you watching, those of you streaming live, please, if you are streaming live on other network, please, mistakenly, I almost played this video now so that, they are not going to block your, your platform. So please, those of you that are airing this, streaming this live video, please, I'm going to play this video. It's going to take like a few seconds. So I'll play it and then take it off, and you can continue streaming this live video, please. So if you are streaming it, our autopiloted IPOB Media Warriors, I am going to play this video of massacre in Benue State again, just to show you how the demographic fault line can be identified, not just by election. And the question now is the solution. So we are going to start, and I'm going to allow it to roll 3 times because it is a very short video. Here we go. This is demographic fault line. Changing the demography. Once they are killed like this, the people will flee. Nobody will be in that place again. But this was inside IDP camp. And this is what we are fighting against. And I know the team may not be showing again. Please, if it is not showing, you just refresh. All right, I think it did not show. So anyway, that is the demographic fault line we are talking about. So I want us to continue to listen.
I believe that they should be the one to rule the Nigeria, especially when Goodluck Johnson, the president, who is the president of Nigeria currently, is a Christian from the south. And I think that set them off, that how could the Christian be a president in the country that where there is a Muslim.
Now, this is exactly what Peter Obi was talking about in the phone conversation. It is religious war. There is no way you can hide it that is not going to be called religious war. It is complete religious war. And Peter Obi spelled it out. And they have come to intimidate him with threat and all manner of things. So it is the religious war. And that is why all the Muslims, they went from one mosque to another, making sure that the Muslim ticket become the president. And like we have already said, the Biafra people have made it very, very clear that the Muslim ticket is a state. A complete violation of the Nigerian law on secular state. And it is going to be the beginning of the liberation of Biafra. Because Nigeria can never validate 29th May, from the 29th of May 2023. We will never validate the government from Abuja. And nobody in Biafra land, no governor will take order and take oath under that particular Muslim ticket that have violated the so-called the law of Nigeria on secular state, on secular status. I want everybody to understand this. We have the step-by-step roadmap to Biafra freedom. And now we have laid the foundation from diaspora. You know, when we were some of you remember when I was telling you about, when I was telling you people before that we are going to bring Biafra from the diaspora. Some of you don't know what we are saying. You didn't know it. I have tweeted it today. I say, you see this Biafra, we are going to bring it from abroad. Some of you don't believe it. Now you know what I was talking about. You see, whatever we are doing today is a template that we have. How to, how to make sure that we door Nigeria, and get our freedom. And we're following it. I started making this comment of we are going to bring Biafra from diaspora as far back as 3 years ago. Right? I started to push more about it. Immediately Mazen Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped. I said, we are going to get Biafra from diaspora. Some of you don't know why I said that. But I believe that I don't need to go into more details or deeper, because the event of today should tell you that indeed we are getting Biafra from diaspora. We have now activated in full force the Biafra government in exile. The Biafra government in exile, a shadow government also, is functioning completely and will have a transitional government as soon as declared. The government will cease to exist. As simple as that. As soon as the Biafra is redeclared, the exile government will cease to exist. But for now, we have taken the responsibility of the affair of the Biafra people. So, some of you do not know what we are doing. It is step by step. And let me tell you, some people will say, I go one, I go two. For, the autonomy. The autonomy and then the due process. As now I go one, I go two. Now I go one, I go two. We decided to go one and go two. So first of all, we have already started notifying the international community about the presence of the Biafra government in exile, taking the responsibility of the day-to-day activities of the government of Biafra people. And as soon as we liberate Biafra and declare Biafra, either by declaration, referendum, or otherwise, as soon as that is done, the exile government will cease to exist that moment. Everything will push back to set up and form a government, a transitional government in Biafra land. So I want you people to understand that when we are doing this thing, we are doing, you are supposed to know, I think they're supposed to know the root cause of why the election revealed this particular demographic fault line. It is not because of the election. It is because of what you are hearing here, which is happening physically on ground. It is because of the killings, terrorism, and all the attack going on everywhere and there. That's why the demography fault line has been identified.
I believe that the country should be ruled by Sharia law. And if you can see to Nigeria, the 12 states in the north, they apply the Sharia law in the country. Even though there are minority Muslims who live with them, Christians, but still they apply the Sharia law. Is that they should take all the Nigerians to be ruled by Islamic law. So they are not happy with the system of the government in Nigeria currently.
The level of violence, we are just now learning about the Boko Haram because of the violence, because they've kidnapped these hundreds of Christian schoolgirls. What motivates them to do that particularly? Because they've been burning churches and burning and killing people. What motivated to kidnap these girls? But what can the government do, and what are they trying to do?
Well, I think the government in Nigeria is in a very tough situation. With my work in Nigeria with the victim of Boko Haram, you know, the Nigerian military is made up with the different tribes and different religions, and it's very hard for them to fight the Boko Haram. I think that is one of the reasons the Nigerian army is unable to crush the Boko Haram, because
they'd be fighting against each other.
Of course.
Are you hearing it? As far back as they know that the Nigerian military already have what we call the Boko Haram members inside them. Are you hearing it? And some of you will never understand this. And that is why we need to bring this again.
But the peace in this state is under assault. There's an attempt at ethnic cleansing in this state, and of course in all the riverine states of Nigeria. We must resist it. We must stop it. Every one of us must rise up. The armed forces are not neutral.
The armed forces are not neutral.
To kidnap these girls. But what can the government do, and what are they trying to do?
Well, I think the government in Nigeria is in a very tough situation. With my work in Nigeria with the victim of Boko Haram, you know, the Nigerian military is made up with the different tribes and different religions, and it's very hard for them to fight the Boko Haram. I think that is one of the reasons the Nigerian army is unable the Boko Haram, because
they fight
themselves. Right. If you go to attack Boko Haram, news will leak to them easily from inside the military, and that is one of the reasons that the government is not doing well. And
They collude with the armed bandits that kill people, kill Nigerians. They facilitate their movements. They cover them.
They facilitate their movement, they cover them, which is exactly what this man means here. So whenever they want to go, somebody from the desk to them will go and leak the information.
if you go to attack Boko Haram, then news will leak to them easily from inside the military, and that is one of the reasons that the government is not doing well. And part of it, there are wealthy people in Nigeria who are Muslim, who are supporting the Boko Haram in secret. They are not coming out to say this is what we are doing. They are not happy with the with the Christian president in the country. So that.
And that is the reason why the religious war comment by P2B. P2B shouldn't have denied it. It is his voice. It's a religious war, and it is fact.
If you are depending on the armed forces to stop the killings, you will all die one by one.
And I want you all to understand this, that it is very important that you follow comments and the wording of this man.
To get rid of Goodluck Johnson and put the Muslim guy in.
So tacitly, they are supporting the Boko Haram, these wealthy people in Nigeria.
Correct, in a secret, but they are not coming out to say this frankly. And the Sudanese government is behind them, and they are not coming out to say that they are supporting this. Because for them, they believe that in 60s, the Nigerian was strongly ruled by the Muslim leaders. And they see now things are changing. All what they want to do is to have the power in Nigeria to contain the Christianity in Nigeria. That is the whole agenda.
They want to exterminate the Christians?
They want them to eliminate them. They want them to be minority. They want them not to have power in the country.
And to do that, so they're terrorizing.
They're terrorizing them.
What kind of?
Now, this is as far back as during Goodluck Jonathan regime. This man say they want Nigeria, they want that Christians don't have power in Nigeria. And today, after over 10 years of this video, it has happened. After over 10 years, it has happened. And let me tell you, it did not also end here. I want you to read what the Greek man wrote. Christians can never rule Nigeria again. He said we'll never rule Nigeria again. Where did I see? Okay. Let me bring this particular news. Now, if you see, let me bring this. The one from Greek is to say, Tinubu, why it will be difficult for Christians to become president. They call him Alhaji Asare from the Greek. Because some of them are beneficiaries of the so-called Sudan trip and Saudi Arabia trip. You understand? Some of them have been trained to thwart our freedom when it is coming. And that is why you see them, you see him, and the governors are using him to do all this nonsense, which the end is coming very soon. Now, look at, this idiot is saying that it will be difficult for a Christian to become president in Nigeria again. And it exactly tallies with the analysis of this man who claimed that some of them were sponsored to go to the Muslim countries, for training, for terrorist training, Islamization training. And he came back, all of a sudden he is now uttering a word supporting Tinubu that the Christian cannot become Muslim again. It is in line with the agenda of the Islamic State. I want everybody to listen again.
Christianity in Nigeria. That is, the Nigerian was strongly ruled by the Muslim leaders. And they see now things are changing. All what they want to do is to have the power in Nigeria to contain the Christianity in Nigeria. That is the whole agenda.
They want to exterminate the Christians?
They want them to eliminate them. They want them to be minority. They want them not to have power in the country.
Are you hearing
And you do that, and there's
They want the Christian to be minority. They want the Christian not to have power in the country. And that is exactly what this idiot from Creek have said here. Tinubu, why it will be difficult for Christians to become president as Aredu Kubo. Do you understand it? This is just how many, which day? 17th. On the 12th. This is even today. On the 10th day. This particular report. Why it will be difficult for Christians to become president. And after 10 years of this analysis, it is manifesting today.
So they're terrorizing.
They're terrorizing them.
What kind of things have you seen of the victims? Because you've been working on the ground with the victims of the Boko Haram. What kind of things have you been seeing, and what kind of things have you been hearing?
Well, for instance, the one group I'm working with in Madela, in Niger Delta, there were people in 2011 went to the church during the Christmas. And when the Christmas was parked, the car was detonated. It was exploded and killed about 43 people in the church. And about 200 members of the church were wounded. And these are the people I'm working with now. People who lost hands, who lost eyes. Some of them, still have mental in their brain, and they are suffering of that. Some people lost their business, and they have to start doing that. What I'm seeing from the people now coming from the other side of Enugu, the Christians are running away from the north because they target their business, because Christians are very business-minded in Nigeria. And what Boko Haram is doing is going after their businesses and bomb them and destroy them.
Are you hearing that? They will be going after their businesses and bomb them and destroy them. This is the thing happening in Lagos today. It is happening in Lagos. Completely happening in Lagos. After over 10 years, it is happening. And I am saying here today is happening. They will go after their businesses. It is called economic jihad. They will make sure they destroy your businesses, bomb them, burn all of them. It is happening in Lagos. And because of our intervention in Lagos with our sit at home, it has now reduced. If you notice that since we call for sit at home in Lagos, we have not called for we have not given a date for the sit at home. But you notice that since then, everything has calmed down. How many of you noticed that? Just that we have the capacity, the capability, and we have all the things it takes to make sure that our people in Lagos, sit at home. But the threat of the economic loss is what have stopped it. So if you think that we are joking, you know the power of the civil disobedience. It is only for hearing that we are now preparing to sit at home in Lagos. The burning of market have stopped. Have you noticed that? Since the time we proposed we start planning the sit at home in Lagos, everything about burning the market have stopped. Now, what they have done now is to activate the Land Act, which is the Obas will come and sell your land. You see that so many people were being marked their properties that they are fighting for the land. They have to come and pay again. They didn't pay to the right person. After many years, that court gave some injunction for this and that. They have not burned the market again just because they know we are going to crush the economy. Because I made it very clear, our target is to cripple the economy of Lagos without missing word, and we are going to do it. When they don't pay salary, they know what it means when they lose the revenue that they have been generated from Biafra people. It is just because of that they are not burning the market again. Because they know if they continue, we are going to sit at home. And they know if they continue, when we sit at home, we are going to cripple the economy. And when I listen to people say, oh, Simon Ekpa have exposed himself that indeed he is crippling the economy of the Southeast, is a lie. We are crippling the economy of the government. It is bad if we cripple the economy of the government of those governors in the Southeast. What have they done with the so-called economy? What exactly? Just name one thing. they have done with the so-called economy in the southeast? Nothing. Is it road that you have in the southeast? Is it hospital that you have in the southeast? All they do is to use the economy to enrich themselves and send their children to America to go and study. So when they come to tell you Simon Ekpa is destroying the economy, I am not destroying your economy. Your businesses, you sell it on Monday, you sell it on Tuesday. But you know what? Every day they did not go to work and they generate revenue for the state. They are lacking the money. Every single day you sit at home in the southeast, the governors, the state government, and I was in a meeting with the so-called the Igbo Congress with people. The one they call their president brought, say he has a study, a study. With me about how much Anambra State is losing because of sit at home. They did not invite me to tell me how much an average Igbo man or Igbo woman is losing, because they're not losing money. They are not losing absolutely nothing. But when they want to, because of they know the consequences of what we are doing, they will tell you economy of Igbo, economy of what is it? Does Southeast have economy? Southeast do not have economy. You can never have economy in a faulty foundation. If you claim that Southeast have economy, and we see what the economy is doing in the life of the people. Any economy that does not reflect in the life of the citizen is not economy. It's as good as nothing. So if you claim you have economy in the Southeast, give us a proof of the economy. What is your proof? Is it in the road? Is it in infrastructure? Is it in social services? Is it in human capital? Let us see the proof of the economy now. You have been doing this economy for the past 60 years. We just started sit at home civil disobedience for our freedom just 2 years ago. And you are complaining. But for the past 60 years, there is nothing to show for this economy in the Southeast. So it is because of our sit at home, Lagos State humbled themselves and humbled their criminals and the arsonists against the Igbo. And yet, the people that will intervene to save their businesses were those calling for my head. They want me dead. They are calling for my head. They place bounty on me. And a very good Samaritan, a very good patriotic citizen of Biafra has something.
How was voter suppression here?
I know that you guys have been waiting for me to speak about this election more. I just keep quiet. I want every Nigerian to see what happened. Myself, can Nigeria take that step to apologize to Simon? I was asking myself, can Nigeria take that step to apologize to Simon Ekpa? Because few days before the election, they interviewed Simon Ekpa to know his mind, and Nigerian government made this case that Simon Ekpa is about to disrupt what they call it, a democratic process. Then Simon Ekpa granted this interview. You are listening now. Listen to that interview and hear what he said.
They breed criminals, and that's what we're fighting against. The reason why the later on get sorted out easily and fast was because it was against Finland, and Finland have to officially react to the letter, and the letter went viral. There are so many lies against me out there on social media. Nobody could come and say it is not true. Okay, so that is, and those lies, when they continue to say it and maintain it, it becomes truth when nobody debunk it.
You talk about criminals. Do you think the candidates for the presidency are criminals?
They are all criminals, yes. All of them.
Even Peter Obi?
Peter Obi is a criminal.
But he's a southerner, isn't he?
He doesn't, I am not a tribal, listen, I'm not a tribalist. I'm not a tribalist. And that is what makes us different. We want, if I'm criticizing you, I criticize you with fact and figures. I'm going to tell you how all of them are. Do I explain? One, you know, starting from Atiku. Atiku was indicted in the United States for money laundering. He's a criminal. How do you think if Nigeria is a United States, Atiku will come back and start contesting with the criminal record he has had for money laundering? Tinubu was indicted in the United States for pushing. The records are there. So it's criminal. Nigeria is being ruled by criminals, and they bring criminals. Peter Obi his name was in Pandora. He didn't deny it. It's also the part of international money laundering crime. He has $15 million in offshore accounts.
But surely Obi, being a southerner, is on the side of your people.
That is the problem. Why must you have somebody that have people? That is the dangerous diversity that I have brought up, because it will never work. Everything about Nigeria is what favors my people. I don't want what we want a Biafra where everything favors everybody. But when you have Nigeria, it is either Fulani. Now we don't even have Hausa anymore because Fulani have overshadowed them. So it is either you are fighting for Northerner as a Fulani Muslim, or you are fighting for Yorubas, or you are fighting for Igbo people. So how can you continue in that kind of system? This is why we must.
Okay, he said this. You know, he said that Nigerian are criminal. You know, the guy ever actually tried to stitch him with Obi. He told him that no, I'm not a tribalistic man here. I'm trying to be honest with you. Nigerian government is corrupt. All of them are criminals. This something that I want Nigerian government. I was hoping that they will use election or the election process or aftermath to tell the world that Simon or Nnamdi Kanu or those that are saying Nigeria is a fraud, all are liars. But what happened? They worsened it. The international community were there. They saw what happened. Even the CNN, everybody carried it. They saw what happened.
There have been abuses of incumbency, where those who wish to organise rallies where governors are not of the same party, that they have been hindered in some way. We have seen instances in which there have been intimidation. And therefore we took note of these issues, and these fall well short of international standards that Nigeria has set for itself.
That there have been significant operational failures. Nigeria, who have
and that was, you know, as you can listen to him, you know, a call for Nigerians, those who call themselves Nigerians, to apologize to Simon Ekpa. You know, a call for them to apologize to Simon Ekpa. I want you people to, you know, to look at the latest. I want you people to look at the latest. You know, I don't want to talk about this, but look at the latest. And you've never seen them condemn the killing of Ndigbo. Look at them. This ape-faced Abati, who could not the interview, he is busy because Nigerian government is sponsoring them. You can imagine what they are, you know, pushing to the media. Capture Simon Ekpa dead or alive. Or unless they send message to Finnish and Nigerian government. Oh my God. I don't want to discuss about it. I don't want to discuss about it because, you know, these are people that are inconsequential. Very inconsequential. Others is telling Finland government to capture Simon Ekpa dead or alive. They have placed bounty, $50,000 bounty on me. I am still standing. They have placed $100,000 bounty on me. I am still standing. Now they are calling the Finnish government and Nigerian government to capture Simon Ekpa dead or alive. And these are the people who were there when people are being massacred even 2 days ago. Nigeria government, Nigeria army, resume attack in Imo State, killing people, burning shops that belongs to Ndibo, burning everything. And these idiots have not done anything, have not even issued a statement. Here is the Nigeria. Here, exclusive. Nigeria Army personnel resume invasion of community in Imo State, burn market, loot several shops during Easter. During Easter time, in Imo State, in Alibu, and faceless idiot, a disabled leprosy man will be writing Simon Ekpa, capture him dead or alive. And they still think that anybody in Igbo land listen to them. Nobody listen to this idiot.
You must go and listen to Simon Ekpa, who is doing a very fantastic job. Very great job that Simon Ekpa is doing. Very, very, absolutely fantastic job that he's doing. You must listen to him and share his videos accordingly. Very, very important. He is bringing a new dimension to this very awareness that we're making, and you must listen to him. Very, very important.
We are saying we want to be free. It is not only Biafra that is going to be free this year. A lot of nations will break. Nigeria is going to break into pieces, and we, the Biafra people, are going to make it possible. I am telling you now, it is not a hidden thing. It is going to have been activated in full. And these are people that are not even up to 10. They register something in Nigeria and they begin to use it, and Nigeria government is sponsoring them, and they are writing anyhow, writing nonsense against Biafra. They are never part of us. Is Ohanese fighting for Biafra? Anything about in favor of Biafra? How many people in Biafra land do they represent? They represent nobody. They represent nobody. And after this, we are going to open the line. Today we are going to receive only video calls from Enter Biafra. Thank you.
In Nigeria, in one state there were about 52 churches. Today, only 2 of them left, and 50 of them has been destroyed by Boko Haram. People who lost hand, who lost eyes, some of them they have still lost hand, who lost eyes, some of them they have still have mental in their brain, and they are suffering of that. Some people lost their business, and they have to start doing that. What I'm seeing from the people now coming from the other side of Enugu, the Christians are running away from the north because they target their business, because Christians are very business-minded in Nigeria. And what Boko Haram is doing is going after their businesses and bomb them and destroy them. In the northern Nigeria, in one state there were about 52 churches. Today, only 2 of them left, and 50 of them has been destroyed by Boko Haram. So all these people are coming back from the north, running to the south to save their life because they are afraid of the violence. And these are the people I'm working with to support them.
Are we going to see 2 states in Nigeria like we've seen in Sudan, in the years to come? Is that where we're headed?
Right, but we should prevent that. We should not let that happen to Nigeria, really. The world should stand up, because if we allow that to Boko Haram, it is going to be Islamic government in the middle of Africa. And we know that their aim is not only Nigeria, their eyes is on the other country. So if they manage to form their own country in Nigeria, for sure they will move to the next neighbor country and they will terrorize them. So I believe the way we dealt with Taliban should be the same way we should deal with the Boko Haram.
Wow. Franco Mayok, thank you very much for being here on A Spirited Debate. You were the project manager for Nigeria projects of the Christians on the ground in Nigeria. Thank you very much for opening our eyes and to shedding some light on what's going on actually in Nigeria.
And our website is www.csi-usa.org.
Okay.
People can look into that and
absolutely, yes, www.csi, that's Christian Solidarity International-usa.org. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
All right. we are going to we are going to you know, receive calls. I want to make it very clear. I do not have anything against anybody who is placing bounty on me, who is calling for my head, who is calling for dead or alive to capture Simon Ekpa. I do not have anything against them, you know, but they are fighting each other too. The people issuing the statement are not original Anes and Igbo. They are fighting each other too. So I don't have anything against them. The person can continue to write and issue threat to Simon Ekpa and all that. I have nothing against him. And I'm making it very clear today. So I have nothing against him. I'm not threatening him and I will not threaten him. But he will have the Biafra people to contend with. If Biafra people want, they will allow him to continue to issue threat and destabilize what we're doing. I have nothing absolutely personally. Thank you. All right, our pool. And yeah, like I said, you know, if you want to talk with me on video, you can hit the video sign on Enter Biafra website, and you have 1 minute to talk to me. Let us go there. Hit the video sign and let us do it. What is your opinion on what you just learned today, especially on the comment? And everything you hear today is what affect what is bringing the religious, ethnic, and demographic fault line in Nigeria, not the election. Election is just, you know, they say election revealed. It is not election. Election did not start all these things. It is the Islamic State agenda, which has actually manifested to the fullest by Muslim ticket, and they have voted them and rigged the election with terrorism in Lagos and other Nigeria. The line is open, and join us. But if you want to call on phone, because of the phone is always giving some issues and all that. So, and by the way, we are going to make our map public very soon. Luke Iwuze, you're welcome to the program.
Mazi.
Good evening from here.
Very good early morning from here.
You're welcome.
First and foremost, I want to say congratulations for accepting the call of your people.
Thank you.
I want to say thank you for not giving in to the pressures, not succumbing to the blackmails, and everything that has come to play. But today, they've all together worked for our own good.
Yes.
All the attacks, all the saboteuring work has all worked. Is our dream has come true. You know, when you made that remark that Biafra will be coming from diaspora, that's not the only thing you said. Another important thing that you said was, from now on, we will be thinking for them because they no longer think or reason for themselves.
Exactly.
And that word was not just, that word was given to you from heaven. And as you can see, those who are still locked up in the old order, they really cannot reason or think of themselves. I believed or thought that the election is going to produce a resounding result. The election will all of a sudden solve all the problems that we've known all our life.
Yes.
But to their dismay and disappointment, it worsened the situation.
Exactly.
And today, they are all witnesses. They are all, I mean, if anyone that is not speaking or saying anything, it's not because they don't, it's not because they don't want to say, it's because they are afraid and they are ashamed.
Yes.
Because everything they have ever dreamed of or believed on and hoped. So the Biafran government in exile has been activated, and to the glory of God, that is the right way to go.
Yes.
I made a post for our beloved Biafrans in Tunisia, who I saw and my heart break. And I said to them that help is on the way. No more will the Biafrans be subjected to inhuman treatment. No more will Biafrans will be subjected to, loss of identity, because up until now we've had identity crisis, and that could be the reason why our people behave the way they are behaving, because until you answer who you are and who you are meant to be,
Yes.
until our identity is changed, there is hope for all Biafrans everywhere in the world. There is hope because it's not going to pass this year. This year, in fact, before the middle of this year, I'm sure everything is going to change.
Yes.
The exposition you made in analyzing the aftermath and what United Nations come up with, I believe United Nations right now, they will listen to this broadcast, they will swallow their pride, and they will do the needful.
Yes.
No more would they hide in any form to just look the other way when all these killings and all these destructions are going on unabated on daily basis. So I want to thank you, my brother. I want to thank you, our Prime Minister. You're my Prime Minister. I am bold and I'm confident to call you. I have pride to call you my Prime Minister. You've done well, and thank God for every member of the cabinet and all that has been working assiduously to make sure that we are where we are today. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Remember that video is for those who would want to appear on video and not line. So if you want to appear on video to make a comment or ask question, you are free to do that. Pastor Vam, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you, my Prime Minister.
You're welcome.
I am honored to be working with you, my Prime Minister. There is something I want to beg of you tonight. In the Bible, too much for Moses, and his father-in-law asked him to anoint 70 men and transfer his spirit on them. I don't know that shock observer that you have. I don't know how you are able to do it, because the level of attacks and the level of blackmail that have come to you and how you overcome them, it baffles some of us. We don't understand that anointing that you have. So I want to beg of you to conduct a form of transference of anointing upon some of us, because honestly, it's not a joke. Serious, I'm very serious about this. So I don't know how you will be able to transfer some of this grace and this power upon us, so that we'll be able to stand the test of time, because I don't know how you are able to, withstand some of these weights that comes around you, and you just see them as if it is just noise, and you just power on like a war horse. I don't know how you do it. Please, you need to conduct some prayer section on us and transfer some of this power on us, because I don't understand how you do it.
Oh my goodness, this is funny, honestly, because I remember when Gaddafi saying he want to belong to this country.
No, I'm not. I'm very serious about this. You really need to transfer some of this power on us, so that we'll be able to operate in the same level. Even if not the same level, at least close to that level. Just near that level.
You see, let me tell you, it is not, this, the thing is that God have always empowered all of you that are working with me. Believe me, that anointing that I have today is also working on all of you. I am telling you the fact. You just have to identify it and then you start using it. So the fact that you are in alliance with what I'm doing, you are possessed by that spirit of positive and to withstand whatever comes your way. You just have to, identify it. In my work life, colleagues have always done exactly the same thing you've done today. Sometimes they will call me, my partners, I want to be like you, Simon. What is it that, because it is just me and it's just me and God. You need to just know that the spirit that, controls me works for the people that works with me. It is just as simple as that. Let me tell you one thing. I don't wish people bad, and I forgive people very easily. And another thing is that why I'm doing this thing, I made the comment I made, is because I know a lot of Biafrans are not happy with what these people are doing. And so if something happen, you should mention me, because I have nothing against them. You understand? Just know that you have to know that God is the Alpha and the Omega, and discover the energy that works with you. Everything is about energy to me. I believe in science, I believe in God, I believe in tradition, I believe in everything that that we have on this planet, because everything is created by God. So I believe in the energies. Believe in the energies in the forest. I believe in the energies of the nature. So I am able to discover who I am, identify the power that works with me, and I apply it. It doesn't mean that I am perfect in what I'm doing, but most times I have always predicted things, right. And I have always gotten signs of something and worked towards allowing it to happen or preventing it. So, when this thing happened, when Onyendu was captured, all of you remember I came live one day and I was asking
wisdom. Yeah.
So then nobody know that attack was going to come. Nobody know that I was going to be blackmailed, because it was not happening then. Nobody foresaw all these things that has happened in the last 2 years. But if you go to that video, the day I was calling on God to give me 1,000 men wisdom to withstand what is coming, you will know that it was not me that was speaking that day. So, but whether I have seen all these things going on, I did not see it. But I know something was speaking through me, and I sense that the challenges is going to be much. And in this kind of challenges, it doesn't need physical power to withstand them. It doesn't need physical strength to withstand them. Rather, you need wisdom to maneuver them. You need wisdom to be able to respond to these things as they come. You need wisdom to be able to make some certain tough decisions that when you make it, you know that this decision can solve so many problems and all that. So, so when I was asking for God to give me 1,000 men wisdom to stand what is to come, I don't know what was coming. But when you look from that day of that video till today, which is almost 2 years now, you find out that, like you said, you don't know how I managed to to do this. So I believe that God answered that prayer that day, because I don't go to anywhere now, you know, and I'm scared of answering questions. There is no question you can bring to me that I will not address when it comes to this Biafra. Okay, you know,
Exactly.
I'm not scared of going to any journalist or anything to, you know, or to for somebody to pose any question, whether it is difficult and all that. There was a journalist that came to interview me. He said, Simon, I know you are a very smart guy, but you know, I have a very difficult questions and I hope you are going to manage. I said, bring it on. You know, without you know, waiting for a second, I say bring it on. And he was asking those questions and I was, you know, trashing them. In fact, before he even talked, I'm interrupting him and was, you know, almost answering questions that he had not even asked. You know, so it's like I know what he want to say, you know, based on what he said in the beginning. So, you know, it was like after that interview, the guy was nodding his head. You know, the thing is that God has prepared many of you, not just me, you know, to be able to fight for this Biafra. And that have made history. And you can never wipe their name away when Biafra is mentioned. Those who were able to stand the temptation, you know, stand against the temptation of the devil, stand against all this side distraction, maintain their faith in what we are doing, you see that the game have changed. It is no longer what we were doing till last month. Now the whole game of the Biafra freedom has changed. 360 degrees. And from now on, it is no longer what we were doing before. That is why the truth must be maintained. No matter what, if you watch after I gave the truth, you see that some people started springing up. People that have not made broadcasts for the past 2 months. They started coming up again with the gossip. You know, their job is that the devil have possessed them. It is all about distraction. Once they see that it is you are going to make stay focused now, let us come again and let everything, you know, start. Let us start deviating and all that. So it is they are being used by the devil. They are being used by the agent of darkness. They are being used by the forces that is fighting against Biafra. So, and what we have done is that we have been able to identify the forces of darkness that is fighting against Biafra, and now we have made progress. The level where we are now, the step where we are now, we cannot come down to punch somebody and start to go up again. So we remain there, build other steps until we get to our destination. That's why in the next few weeks or in the next few days, more of these people that you have not seen for the past 2 months are going to. I see one of them today making broadcasts. For example, speaking all this, they are primitive Igbo this thing, was shouting on social media, where is Simon Ekpa? Where is, you know, all those kind of things. We don't need to. And one thing about me is that I watch everybody. I may not have the time to watch you, but I you know, go and peep into your video and listen to what you say, and I go. So I research everywhere to see what is happening. So I know some of them are going to come out. Those who have never spoken for the past 2 months, because they hear truth, they are going to come. Now let us come and start making saga again. So I am still appealing to you people, the media team, that now the level of this agitation have changed. And we must understand that it is now about focusing on the diplomatic war that we are going to fight. As I'm talking to you, letter is already flying here and there, left, right, center, you know, to people that matters, and it will continue to fly like that. We are not expecting to get anything. You understand?
Very well.
So let us maintain the truth and let the spirit that has led us to this point continue to fire them, because the spirit is heavy, you know. So let's continue to fire. You know, when we come out,
still have a section of prayer for this our media team. At least once in a while, if you quiet over because I need the little around this.
Yes.
I don't know about they are not in small.
Don't worry, it is going to. Don't worry, we are going to. You see, don't worry, things are going to be moving differently now. You know, you are in the circle. You know what is happening. You know, things are going to move very well, and we are those doors that nobody will enter. We will enter it with ease. You know, it will open and we'll enter it with ease. Just what we have been doing till now, it is going to be more easier now. You know, everywhere that we're supposed to enter to preach Biafra, we will enter it and door will open. And remember that if there is nothing I say with this mouth that has not come to pass, except that Biafra freedom is coming this year. That is coming. Yes. So thank you very much.
Thank you, my Prime Minister. We are believing God that it's only testimonies that will be coming out from henceforth until Biafra comes.
You say.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. We continue. Chinemerem, you know, you are coming almost every day. I don't know your system is working today or not. You're welcome to the program.
Good evening, sir.
It is working today.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Thank you very much for your hard work. You're doing well. I could remember when you were starting, you told our leader that if he has no roadmap to Biafra, that you help him. If he has nothing in the table, that you help him get one. That you help him bring something to the table. Thank you very much. The same way Pastor Van is praying for some of your grace, that same way some of us are praying for some of his own grace too.
Yes.
I pray, may Okike guide you all on this journey. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, put your video off. It's me again.
I would like to leave this video.
All right. Go ahead.
What happened is I messaged you privately and I thought it for you. But this position where you go accept. I say you consult me for no greed because what way you get don't do. But this is your new position where you accept. That is why I message you and me too. I don't. You said to whom much is given, much is expected. Mister, I don't take much. I first of all scrap that my old and up now. You know, you get me?
Yes, I get you.
It's a part of my commitment. My, you know where they call.
Yes, yes.
As for organized.
And by the way, I see where you are battling one flavor like that on Twitter.
That guy, after giving a whole lot of episode, I just tired. Thank God say you know it's talk.
Yes. Are they everywhere?
Going forward, this
Go ahead.
Meanwhile, let's congratulate that you accepted this post of PM. Congratulate myself. I'll give us an example. When they come that 400-meter relay during his heydays, he became the second. Knowing that the people who did the second line from his opponent, all of them na fire. When they gave him the batting, he established the so every Jamaican was expecting nobody else but Osembo. He did. At what point will he come? He became the second. He received the battle calmly. He zoomed off everybody But pass the bat calmly, like you said. When Biafra come, the government in exile, you have received baton, like we say, but calmly. So people like the Jamaican the spectators there, we are happy. So I must congratulate myself. I asked all Biafrans to go and drink one bottle of credit too. If they no get me then big credit, I go pay. And that's for you. I pray for you, and the grace of God will lead you through. Talking about our amazing people, I want Biafrans to understand that these people, like make JYZ Nigeria Limited, start talking bad of you. They are company that is registered in Nigeria under Nigerian CAC. I'll take you to the article of July 29. Are you getting me?
Yes, yes, go ahead.
I'll take you to the article July 29, 2020. The Nigerian Yellow Pages article about Ohaneze. Calls the Biafran struggle. Like saying that they are youth wings. You know, the one back is in charge of the CAC. They said we sent their registration. This Ohaneze not just registered organization in Nigeria. What is the yardstick of being an Ohaneze? Once you are a bit old and hungry and you can beg and kneel down, you can be part of them. So they hold no water. I don't see why their news go they make round. The governors does not give them money as they promised them. So where then go get $50,000 to pay as bounty? They cast some on them. Will they place bounty on credit? Where's the money first of all? They don't chop.
And do you know this? Do you know the funny part of it? The funny part of it is that the person placing bounty on me is working with clutches, which he doesn't have a job. He's using clutches to work, and the wife is the one. The wife is the one feeding him. The wife is working somewhere.
You know, the international community will be laughing at him. A political member in Finland, you are placing bounty of $50,000. What is the worth of? You go place bounty, you what the value of that person? If Tinubu don't give you $5 million, $20 million, how cannot Ohaneze be placing $50 million to get you? Okay, now that hello?
$50,000 is not big money to them now.
Then let to produce you. It is as simple as possible.
Thank you for bringing this issue. I'll ask that question. I don't understand how these people will be thinking. You said I'm working for Tinubu. Tinubu is there in Nigeria. You leave Tinubu and why don't you go and stop the water from the head where the tap
from the source?
It was responding to them. I have asked this question. If you said that I'm working for Tinubu, Tinubu paid me 1 million, 25 million, what is Tinubu doing there? Go and arrest him.
Go and arrest as simple as that. So if Ohaneze, the thing, if they have something to do, they should arrest Tinubu and stop the stuff to bring them to just everybody should go and look the article of our yellow weather punch or anywhere 20th of July 2020 where the CA is threatening to revoke their registration number as a registered organization. Whatever that gave them comments they made in favor of people. And since then they have been put. Now they just call them say, "Oh, never talk since waiting they happen. You want us to deregister you? They don't come out again, come make noise." I beg, no, I go apologize on their behalf. These people are inconsequential. They are useless set of old men. There is no Ohanese present in my village. What's the yardstick of being Ohanese member? Nothing. You just have to be beggar. You can kneel down. Do you have a red cap? Which I have, by the way. Can I kneel down to beg? Yeah? Can I? I cannot. At this point, let me leave it at this point. Thank you, our good man.
Thank you very much. All right, we continue, and we're going to bring it to an end here. This is already 2 hours. May God bless you. May God bless Biafra. May God bless Mazen Kanu. May God bless the Security Network. May God bless the Biafra Liberation Army. May God bless women and their husbands. May God bless our media warriors. May God bless the government in exile. May God bless the advisory committee. May God bless all the cabinet. May God bless all of you that are supporting this struggle. Remember that on the Saturday, this coming Saturday, is the Eastern Security Network fundraising. Everybody must be part and parcel of that. Thank you very much. From here, from me, is good evening.
Employed. There are 2 things plaguing them in the zoo: lies and deceit. If not for the coming of IPOB, of Radio Biafra, all of you would have lived and died in the ignorance that Ojukwu caused a war. That's what we are. Britain helped them to rise. Ojukwu was a rebel, a secessionist, because we had no media. That is why they're paying Facebook billions upon billions of US dollars to stop this truth from coming out. Did Ojukwu cause any war? Gowon is alive, go and ask him. Did Ojukwu cause any war? Ojukwu went and negotiated restructuring with you in Aburi. You came back, Britain told you not to agree because Britain realized that all the component units of Britain knows that if you go back to regionalism, you will have economic growth. The country will do very well. But Britain doesn't want it. That was why they even instigated the Nzogwu, so-called Nzogwu, saying that they will bring Awolowo to be. They knew what was going to happen. They wanted to truncate the economic miracle of Dr. Michael. But what I'm telling you are fast. Go and investigate for yourself. In the East, you had the fastest growing economy in the whole world, over 40% every year. In the West, Awolowo was performing his own miracle as well. Even in the North, Ahmadu Bello and Tafawa Balewa were doing very well. You had all those massive industries in the North. You even had Alamajiris that were employed in the North, meaningfully employed, gainfully employed. They were all doing very well. Britain said, no, for us to control these people, we need to impoverish them. Let us introduce this war. There was a coup by Nzogwu. And after that, there was the massacre of, as usual, massacre of our people in the North. Ojukwu said, I have to secure my land and my people. They said, no, let's go to Aburi to discuss it. Ojukwu went to Aburi and agreed restructuring. That's something now you're asking for, to tell you how foolish Nigerians are. They're very foolish. That same nonsense you're asking for now was discussed many years ago. Ojukwu sat down in Aburi with Gowon and decided that regionalism was the best way forward, restructuring, going back to who you were, 1963 Constitution, 1960, 1963 Constitution. Be on your own and pay tax to the central government, as they have in America, as they have even in Britain. Britain, you have Scotland that is almost independent, Wales, the same thing, everybody is free, but Britain doesn't want the same thing they're enjoying to happen in Nigeria. Why? Ask yourself that question. Anybody telling you about one Nigeria is your enemy, I'll prove it to you now. Ojukwu negotiated devolution, regionalism. The North will be on their own, the West on their own, even Midwest on their own, and then the East on their own. It's the same one Nigeria. On the airport, before they boarded the aircraft, a call came from Lagos, from the British High Commissioner in Lagos to Gowon, telling Gowon not to agree, after having signed the agreement. That same Gowon you're looking at today, God kept me alive so that he can witness the destruction he will bring upon that very zoo called Nigeria. Gowon said no. Do you know all the journalists in Nigeria, none of them have ever gone to Gowon to ask him, why did you say no to Aburi? Aburi was restructuring. None of those agitating for right now has ever gone to Gowon or gone to Nigeria to say, but Ojukwu negotiated restructuring. What happened? They came back and they said no. Ojukwu said, okay, so you want to continue to kill my people all over the place? No. Because of that, I'll declare Biafra. Today, they have brainwashed all of you with the perverse notion and thinking. There are two things plaguing them in the zoo: lies and deceit. If not,
okay, we are likely coming back for another broadcast with Umo and Biafra. So stay tuned and thank you all for watching. There will be